Hi guys, this is the video feedback for the Chapter 14 quiz. And I'm going to go through the sections. This quiz was also problematic, and the grades were adjusted accordingly because sometimes it's hard to judge how challenging the activities should be, in an online class based on the material you're covering and how you're covering it. But anyway, I'll go through and to hopefully help out any areas that were problematic. Well, the first section here, the culture, this was not too bad, and this can be looked up fairly easily. Vocabulary as well. Let's listen to one here. So we have three options, so it's not too bad. Economía, política, problemas sociales. So listen to each word and select the category that best corresponds to each one. So
La democracia.
La democracia, so that's probably problemas, política would be the best one. Política.
La exportación.
Exportación would be economía, and so on. These sound like they're pretty easy. So let's listen to one more here.
Las elecciones.
Las elecciones política. Okay, well anyway. And then we have more vocab. Here we have a fill in the paragraph. You have 8 words. Let's go through this one. Después de ofrecer los blank económicos, well, it's got to be plural, so it's going to be derechos, datos, right, datos. Yeah. The economic data, okay, so I'll go through all of it and then we'll translate. La presidenta ha hablado hoy sobre los problemas del país. Cree que el blank es el problema más grande porque tenemos un blank muy alto de personas sin trabajo. Entonces el desempleo es el problema porque tenemos un porcentaje muy alto de personas sin trabajo. También dijo que su gobierno debe mejorar su eficiencia, especialmente para asegurar los derechos de los inmigrantes, quienes tienen tasas muy altas de pobreza. It would probably be the one. We'll see if we have to change that. That looks good for now. La presidenta destacó la importancia de la contra el tráfico de drogas. Lucha. The fight. Lucha. Especialmente cuando estas afectan a adolescentes. La presidenta espera que las acciones del gobierno mejoren la igualdad entre hombres y mujeres. Desea tener la confianza de los habitantes. So, after offering the most recent economic data, the president has spoken, the female president has spoken about the problems of the country. She believes that unemployment is the biggest problem because we have a large percentage of people without work. She also said that the government should try to improve its efficiency, especially to assure the rights of immigrants who have very high rates of poverty. The president pointed out the importance of fighting against drug trafficking, especially when these affect adolescents. The president hopes the actions of the government improve equality between men and women. She hopes to have the confidence of the inhabitants of our country. Okay. Indicate which word is not related to the other. This was not problematic. Okay, and then we go on here. We have a listening. Well, this is quite long, so I'm not going to play it. But if you had any questions about this listening, certainly contact me and I can go through it. But again, you have a multiple choice. It's probably not too challenging. I think the grammar might be a little more challenging for us here. Okay, this one is similar. Rigoberta Menchú, a famous activist. And similarly to what the one above, I'm not going to go through that. But if you had questions, definitely contact me and I can make another video going over those. All right, complete the following conversation with the infinitive or the subjunctive form of the appropriate verbs from the list. And this was challenging because you had to pick the verb and then also which one. So, aló, so this is Nerea and Felix. Nerea and Felix. So, hola Nerea, soy Felix. ¿Vas a venir esta noche a la reunión de estudiantes contra la pobreza? Sí, iré con tal de que termine con mi presentación para la clase de historia. That's subjunctive, right? Con tal de que, always followed by subjunctive. Tengo problemas con mi ordenador, which is a computer. Another word for a computer. ¿Quieres que te ayude? Puedo pasar por tu casa esta tarde antes de cenar. Let's see if that one works. So, antes de. If you have a de and you have no que, like here you have a que. But here there's no que. If you don't have a que, it's going to be the infinitive. You need a que to introduce that conjugated verb. So, antes de cenar, we would say before having dinner, they say before to have dinner. They use the infinitive form there. Gracias, acepto tu ayuda a menos que esto sea un problema para ti. A menos que, always followed by subjunctive. A menos que, unless. No es ningún problema y yo ya terminé mi presentación. Además, soy muy egoísta. Te ayudo para que tú vengas conmigo a la reunión esta noche. So, para que, so that, para que is always followed by subjunctive. Para que tú vengas conmigo a la reunión esta noche. Bueno, te espero en casa. Trabajaré mucho para que nosotros podamos ir juntos. Okay, we have the que there. The subject is after the que, but there's still a que there. Para que, so you have to use the subjunctive form there. And also, I'll just point out now that some people, I think, maybe knew they needed to use subjunctive, but maybe forgot there were irregularities, so that you have to review how to form the subjunctive, which is the easy part. The forms of the subjunctive is the easy part, and the use is the challenging part, but you have to have the forms down as well. Some are completely irregular, like ser, sea, that's an irregular one. Others are regular, like termine. And other ones have irregularities, but they're predictable, such as vengas. But anyway, go over the forms, and you can always contact me if you don't understand how to do the formation. But there are some videos in there, I believe from the first chapter, maybe the second chapter of the semester, going over how to form the subjunctive. All right, so use the words in the list to complete the statement about the information in the table. Okay, so I don't think there was too much problem with this. All right, next page. Okay. All right. So Roberto's younger brother is a rebellious teenager and has written some statements to declare his independence from his family. Completes this logically using the infinitive or the correct form of the subjunctive. Okay. So estudiaré solamente para terminar los cursos de la preparatoria. Okay. Again, we have no que here. You must have a que to introduce subjunctive. If you don't, you're going to use the infinitive. So I will study only in order only to finish the courses of high school courses, preparatory courses. We say high school. Okay, haré mi cama con tal de que ustedes me den dinero todas las semanas. So I'll make my bed, providing you all give me money every week. So con tal de que, that's always followed by subjunctive. Provided that, because there's some doubt there. If you say provided that, there's some doubt that this thing is going to happen. And that's the logic behind using the subjunctive there. But you can just remember that con tal de que is one of those ones that's always followed by subjunctive. Okay. No volveré a casa a no ser que se vaya mi padre. Again, subjunctive. A no ser que. It's sort of like unless. A menos que. Elegiré mi futuro sin pensar en mi familia. So I will choose my future without thinking about the family. Again, there's no que here. Sin, without. So you just use the infinitive. We would say without thinking about my family. They say without to think in my family. They use the infinitive. Okay, but not subjunctive because again you need a que to introduce that. No estudiaré en la universidad a menos que consiga una beca. So I will not study at the university unless I get a scholarship, a menos que, always followed by subjunctive. Okay. This one, not too bad, especially if you know that antes de que, para que, a menos que, and sin que are always followed by subjunctive. Right? So let's look at these. Viajaré a Latinoamérica antes de que. Antes de que. Oh, I think me gradúe. We'll see if maybe I change that. Mejoraré mi español para que tenga más oportunidades de encontrar trabajo. Voy a vivir cerca de mi familia a menos que tenga una oferta de empleo muy buena en otro lugar. En el trabajo no me importa viajar. Con tal de que pase la mayoría del tiempo cerca de casa. En los primeros años trabajaré en algo que me guste mucho sin que me importe el dinero. Yeah, there we go. Okay, this one is a little bit easier. Well, it's easier in that you had the verbs there, but then it was actually problematic for some people. There's maybe too many options. But if you know your rules of subjunctive, that helps a lot. So, intenté preparar la sopa especial de tu mamá según ella me explicó. So first I'll go through and then I will explain. Llamé a tu hermana Antonia después de que tú... Llamé a tu hermana Antonia después de que tú explicó y hablamos un rato. Ella dice que va a venir tan pronto como explique su trabajo. Realmente Antonia es una amiga excelente. Siempre viene a ayudarme cuando la explica. Por favor, llámame en cuanto explique este mensaje. At first this seemed, as I'm looking at this, I think that there has been a mistake here. At first I thought they were trying to do something with using explicar in every one. But yeah, this is clearly, they have the wrong verb forms here because this doesn't make sense. So this is one of the reasons I'm raising the grade for this quiz, because of these things. Like, I'm going to have to report this assignment as well. However, según ella me explicó, so that does not require subjunctive, according to the way she explained it to me. Después de que requires subjunctive if you are referring to the future afterwards. But if you're referring to the past or the present, then you don't. In this case, I called your sister Antonio after you did something. Again, these are the wrong verbs. But this is all referring to the past. I called her after you did something. And so, since it's después de que, but not referring to the future, you use indicative, not subjunctive. Tan pronto como, as soon as, always followed by subjunctive because it refers to something pending, right? As soon as, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and then Antonio's okay, siempre comes to help me. She always comes to help me when and again, the verbs are wrong, but siempre is the key word here. Cuando, when it refers to the future, you use subjunctive in the clause. But if it refers to the present or the past, you don't use subjunctive, you use indicative. And then en cuanto is the same as tan pronto como. En cuanto, if it refers to the future, you're going to use subjunctive, as it does here. Call me as soon as, and again, the verbs are wrong. Okay, but anyway, this is part of the reason why I adjusted the grade up, because this is not written correctly. This is very confusing. Okay, another subjunctive here. So Sergio wants to know more about Mercedes' plans to go to Chile. Listen to his questions and answer her. Complete our answers with the correct form of the present indicative or the subjunctive. Okay, so Mire. Well, we know we didn't need to listen to the question. It's cuando referring to the future. We can tell it's referring to the future because this is me iré, I will go next year. Sepa, cuando sepa sobre más de los cursos. Viviré donde está la universidad. All right, so that's right, just present indicative. Creo que sí, mientras viva cerca de la universidad. As long as it's close to the university. But again, that's a pending thing. It's why you need subjunctive there. Voy a tomar muchos cursos de español hasta que me gradúe. Hasta que, also, when it refers to the future, you, as it does here, because it's voy a tomar, you use subjunctive. Claro, en cuanto yo tenga, as soon as I have vacation, right? Summer vacation, referring to this part up here. Okay. So then, the next section, menos que antes de que, con tal de que, para que, sin que. So, nuestra organización trabaja para que los inmigrantes vivan en igualdad, so that colaboraremos con otras organizaciones con tal de que. So we collaborate with organizations provided they respect the rights of immigrants. Todos los inmigrantes, independientes de su condición legal, deben tener asistencia médica y educativa, a menos que tengan antecedentes criminales, unless. Se debe ofrecer un contrato de tiempo para que, no, we ever use para que. Oh, yeah, antes de que los inmigrantes lleguen al país. You should offer a work contract before they arrive. El gobierno debe ayudar a los inmigrantes a adaptarse. What's left? Sin que, without them having to completely leave their customs behind. All right, the rest of it I'm going to put in a different video because I have a 15-minute limit. So this will be part 1. Stay tuned for part 2.